Well, hello and welcome to a brand new season of Wildcat Week. I'm Roger Alcock. The long wait, it's finally over, and Indiana Wesleyan University is now playing football. Well, the team is already 3 games into the inaugural season, and here to talk about IW football is the head coach of the Wildcats, Jordan Langs. And Coach, it's hard to believe we met you a little while ago on Wildcat Week, a couple of seasons ago, and you were just named the head coach, and you were starting to build this program. We talked about a long way. It had to be good to kind of just finally get onto the field and play some football and see everything come together.
Yeah, it was a time that was, I think, well deserved by a lot of people outside of myself and outside of the football program. But since the time we've been here, it's just been a little bit different. Each phase, the last 3 seasons has just been a little bit different. And to be kind of in what some would consider normal, it's not quite normal yet. It's good for us and it's good for a lot of people.
It had to be good for your athletes, your players as well. I mean, all the workouts, the summer routines, the 2-a-days, the lifting, they had to be chomping at the bit to get out there.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of those guys, especially those guys in the first class. Those guys have labored without immediate return for a very, very long time. So for them to go out and play in front of 6,000 people a few weeks ago and then have another great crowd this past weekend, they deserve it because of their vision for this program and their discipline to it.
I know one of the things some people were maybe concerned about was with all the hype, with all the buildup, with all that energy, that maybe a team could get too high for an opening game and kind of expel too much energy at first. But I think it seemed that the team handled all the extraneous things pretty well, and they were prepared and they executed.
Yeah, I think that our approach to it was we were just going to address what we thought was reality. Reality was we were going to be hyped up, it was going to be emotional, we were going to be in front of a lot of people, and we wanted to address that head on so that we knew what was coming and it was coming.
We had the pomp and circumstance, if you will, too, that comes with the new program, the new stadium. We had the guys flying in, delivering the football. All those kinds of things, and finally we kicked things off. And I love the fact that when you won the toss, you said we're going to play some defense first and put that squad out onto the field.
Yeah,
first.
I think the two great things to start off with a kickoff right away and to stop them, to know that we were able to match their physicality was really good. And this touchdown came after 3 straight third down stops for our defense, and it feels really good to make that opponent that you really respect punt the football, and to do it and set up that score was a big deal.
Well, and again, I think this combination of Zack, Blair to Braden Smith is one we were excited to see in live action. We know what they were capable of in practice. We've seen some of that, but I'm excited to watch them all season long.
Yeah, no, they're 2 very talented kids and 2 great leaders in our football program, so that was good to see. Cam Locke's another guy that's really showed so much leadership, and he was a kid that was already here and part of the track and field program, and he's a special talent and a transcendent leader, so it's good to see those kids have success.
And it was a huge moment in this ball game because the crowd was already amped up, but that punt return really set things into a frenzy. They got a big play here, and one of the issues that I think came up for your defense is you got them in 3rd and long a lot of times, but they gave up a couple plays, and they hit you along that seam with the tight end.
Yeah, well, I think we did decent on 3rd downs. They converted on 4 fourth downs, and that's really where it ended up hurting us, and we weren't able to overcome it. But I was really proud. You see our kids battling back, even down 2 scores. It was just great resolve by our players, and it showed that we belonged physically and emotionally.
I loved about this 3rd quarter, as you said, you kind of got down by those 2 scores. The big plays, the Dante Henderson, he showed what an electrifying player he is. But in that 3rd quarter, the team responded, and into the 4th quarter, got within striking distance multiple times, and I love the resolve and the fight back this team showed.
Yeah, I think our players, it really came down to 8 to 12 plays, and this is one of the plays in the game right here, that if we executed half those plays, I think we really would have liked the outcome. But that's what college football is about, especially in a conference as good as the MSFA is. You've got 8 to 12 plays every single game that you have to execute on at least half of them, and we didn't do that. And that's really disappointing, but that's what we're going to take into each week.
I know you talked a lot after that first game is, all right, a game we wanted to win. Obviously, you played to win the game, but you got all the kind of the big stuff behind you. Now you're going on the road against Anderson. You talked about, are we going to choose right now as a team to learn from that and grow from this this week, or we're going to wait? And I loved how the team came out against Anderson and really kind of put a stamp on what they wanted to do against Anderson.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of a different feel because we started off our program's history with a great opponent, and then we went into two opponents that on paper we were better than. And so I think it kind of is set up for an interesting few weeks. But our players could have come out and not did what they were supposed to do in this game, but instead they chose to grow now. Didn't love the way we finished the game, but I was impressed with our kids' focus and intensity.
Well, you went to the ground game early and often. You got the big lead, and then your defense comes up and makes some big plays, and never really gave them a chance to make a run at you in this game. If there was one downside, it was that block punt. And I know we've talked a little bit about that away from the camera. You had a block punt against Taylor, once against Anderson. That you didn't have much of a chance against Trinity to punt the football, but the one time you did, it definitely looked like you've been working on.
Yeah, I think part of a young football team, there's going to be some operation mistakes, especially on special teams. And Coach Nightingale, our special teams coordinator, has done a great job. And Van Gunten, our young kicker, has come up and improved, and our operations improved, and we're excited about the growth everyone's made there.
You know, against Anderson, you saw the big play there through the air. I think the second half you might have thrown the football one time, if that. But I don't know if I've ever heard of three guys getting 150 yards plus. Well, Devadney Alford had 186 yards. Josh McKenzie, 177 yards. And then Tyrell Phelps had 146 yards, but that's pretty good production.
Yeah, I think it was kind of the perfect storm. We wanted to get back on track with the run game after the Taylor loss, and then the rain forced us to run, the score forced us to run. So there's a lot of things that kind of became the perfect storm, plus three really, really talented running backs who run the ball extremely hard.
It's kind of difficult to tell from this footage, but the weather conditions were less than desirable. Not only that it was wet, but I think the bigger factor at times was probably even that wind. I know you went to Ben Van Gunten once for a field goal attempt. The guy's got an amazing leg, and the wind just totally blew that ball.
Yeah, the second half especially. The rain was there kind of constantly, but the second half is when the wind started to pick up too, and the rain. But our players handled it well. I thought our mental focus coming to the game was really good. I thought it could have finished a little bit better, but we had a chance to rectify it this week versus Trinity Bible.
The big thing is you get that first win under your belt on the road, and the first victory is always got to feel good. But I know as a coach, you don't have a lot of chance to celebrate and dwell on those kinds of things because there's always a game next week.
Yeah, I think we had to be excited from a program perspective. Our job was to come out of Anderson 1-1 for the program and for the university, and we did that. And I think when you think about it as a head coach, your job is to do it for the program, and we got it done. So you try to enjoy it for a little bit, but you've got to have a mindset of on to the next one.
And it was on to the next one against Trinity Bible out of North Dakota, a team that, man, they had to put a lot of miles on the road. A team that had some quality players at certain positions, but was lacking in depth, and you guys were able to take advantage of it and, again, ran the ball very effectively.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. We want to be an offense that runs the ball first, and we want to be balanced and maintain drives. And our kids came out and it was a similar situation. Our chance to learn and grow from Anderson was, were we going to do it top to bottom for 60 minutes? Were we going to stay focused and disciplined? And we did a better job at that. And the kids that came in from our depth, that came in and played, did exactly what their job was, kept up the standard of best. And our kids really responded well with their focus, especially in the second half, so I was proud of that.
There's Josh McKenzie with one of his 2 touchdown runs. And again, you have those 3 backs, Tyrell Phelps, we see scoring there, Josh McKenzie, Devadney Alford, and then even Gabe Berkheimer came in, and he was the leading rusher for you. But some depth in the backfield, I think that early on has to look to be one of the strengths of this team.
Even though we're a young football program, there are very few people that are blessed with the 3 running backs that we have in the stable. So we don't take that for granted. We try to get those guys into it each and every week. Those guys practice really hard, run really hard, and we need to continue to keep that up for the gauntlet we're going into.
Well, here's the pitch to Josh McKenzie. It was really cool to have his dad in attendance that day. He offered the opening invocation for that game. But again, big plays all day long. And one of the things I like to see in all the games that I've watched so far is good blocking downfield on the punt returns, from your wide receivers on runs and on passes. I love that kind of focus and execution from from a team perspective and that blocking downfield?
Well, the block downfield for your teammates is about effort, and it's a sign of your commitment to the program and the love for your teammates if you're willing to go the extra mile to block when it really doesn't give you any type of return. So our kids have done that on special teams all year. Offensive line and their offensive in general pride themselves in the amount of effort they give in the blocking game, so that was important.
You know, credit Trinity Bible, they actually put together a really nice drive there. They moved the ball effectively and got the touchdown there to Zack, but that was their only scoring drive of the game. And Marengo will get Steves, Marengo, Martinez, a couple guys on the team that it really did battle hard all day.
They really did have some talent, and they lack some depth, like you said. But we're really thankful for them making the trip out. Another like-minded institution. The coaches were great guys, and the kids fought their tails off. And I thought their coaches should be proud of the way those kids battled for their whole 60 minutes too. So even though it ended up being lopsided in the end, we were thankful for the opportunity.
As the game is kind of winding down here, probably the biggest factor in this game for you, the tension between needing to get your starters some more reps versus getting playing time for other guys deeper down the line. And against Anderson and against Trinity Bible, you did get a lot of guys playing time. How does that benefit your team?
Oh, I think it's a big benefit because people all expect us not to be deep, and everyone expects us not to be experienced, which is fair, but these are opportunities you have to use to get experience and to get depth. And I thought we did everything we had to the last 2 weeks to take advantage of that, and hopefully that helps us sustain us in the rest of the year.
Well, Coach, one last question for you. Now you have, I think, the opportunity really now to move into what is the meat of your schedule.
Yeah.
Lindenwood and Bellevue comes to town. They're an established league team that will be a part of the conference in terms of full standing next year. Games against these league opponents will really show us what this team is like, how far we are, and what we have to look forward to.
Yeah, and I think the interesting part was we started off that year, even though it's Taylor and it's such a big rivalry game, they are an established program, they're a successful program, so we started with that, and I think it showed everyone what we were capable of. Then we played some non-conference games, and now we're back into it. So we're not really starting the conference grind. We got a face full of that week one. So now it's about will our kids come back and fight the way they did against Taylor? Will our kids execute on those plays that we talked about that we didn't execute on in week one? So our focus will be, now we're moving into this 7-week gauntlet. Are we going to learn and grow from the mistakes in week one, and also draw a lot of confidence from that game versus Taylor? So it'll be a very much a measuring stick of where our program is, and I'm excited for our kids to have the chance to respond and show people what they're made of.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week with Game 4 of Wildcat football.
Thanks, Roger.
All right, well, the Wildcats indeed are in action Saturday the 22nd. They'll take on Lindenwood out of Belleville. That is a 1 p.m. kickoff. Don't forget to tune in 12:30 p.m. for the Wildcat Countdown Show with Michael Moffitt and his panel of local analysts. And then the game will be live on WIW-TV and ESPN3 at 1 o'clock, so make sure you tune in. Well, when we come back, we'll have a brand new women's soccer coach as well. So stick around as we talk ladies soccer here at IWU. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. We have more new things this season, and this time it's on the soccer field. The women's soccer team is off to a great start and under the helm of new head coach Daniel Seiffert. So, Coach, thanks for being here and welcome to Indiana Wesleyan. Great to have you on Wildcat Week.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here for sure.
Let's real quick give us a little background where you come from and let the Wildcat fans know a little bit more about the head coach of the Wildcats.
Yeah, no, I'm actually from Ohio area, born and raised in the Columbus area, and went to Mount Vernon Nazarene University for my undergrad, and God kind of opened up the doors for me to coach full-time afterwards. And so I had 9 years of head coaching experience there, and then kind of had the doors open up for me to transition out with my family to IWU, and we're thrilled to be here.
Well, and we're thrilled with the great start to this 2018 season. And I know the first game was on the road. You made a trip out to California against a very good Vanguard team out there. But after that, You've run off 5 consecutive wins and playing pretty well, I would feel.
Yeah, no, the California trip was actually really good for us. Actually, a lot of the players on our team are out from the West Coast area, so being able to go out there and play in front of some of their families and friends was a great experience for the girls, and it was early in the year, so we learned a lot that first game. They always say you learn more from the losses than the wins sometimes, and so ever since then it's been a process, and that's what we've been focusing on, is the progress, and see where it goes from there.
Well, we're going to take a look at some highlights here against your most recent match against Olivet Nazarene, a game, and you guys just really came out, took control early, got I think the first goal, 7-minute mark from Madison Abbott, and from that point on, it was all Wildcats.
Yeah, no, the girls came out with the right mentality, and as you can see here, just really great combination play. Olivia actually assisted right there on about 3 of the 5 goals, so it was really cool just to see the girls come out with the right mentality and really put the pressure on Olivet from the beginning. There's another one from Olivia to set up Tia, and it's just been a fun year to work with this team in regards to that.
Tia Seiffert, if anyone has watched any later Wildcat soccer in the last year or two, knows that she really can do some good things for you on the offensive side of the ball, and 2 goals in this game.
Yeah.
And she's a fun player to watch.
she is, and actually we have a young player on our team, a freshman her name's Lauren, and she's actually been doing a very stellar job as well. Had 2 goals in this game as well as 2 goals in the previous game. So to see the total team offense, just the way everyone works together, you'll see a lot of highlights and clips of just pressure from all around the table, and even having our senior goalkeeper Alex right here come up with a big save. It's just fun to see the leadership of this team take over.
Well, you're up 3-0 right now at that point. Since it's soccer, let me say 3-0.
Yes,
at this point.
correct.
But you took the words right out of my mouth, because Alex Seebeck had 8 saves in this game, and Olivet did put some shots on goal, but she's been stellar for you guys. 3 shutouts so far this season, and that kind of effort is just totally invaluable.
Yeah, our senior leadership is absolutely terrific, and we were able to put in a lot of players into this game, this match, and so it actually created some really good opportunities for us to see where we're at. There's that young player that I was talking about, Lauren, who gets in on the end of it to redirect it towards goal, and just again the total fight from the entire team has been just a blessing to be able to work with and really push each other to grow.
Wildcats up at this point 4-0, and as you said, you now have a chance to play some other plays. But look at the save there on that kick. That's got to be kind of a demoralizing feeling for the other team, where they have some opportunities, and time and time again, your keeper comes up with a big save. And
a lot of times you see right after a big save, a goal-scoring opportunity take place, just like you saw right there. It's amazing when you have that, almost a wall that's built up defensively, how much confidence it gives your offense, knowing that we can put a couple goals away and we should be able to hold on to the lead for the win.
Well, and again, get one more view there of Lauren Turner's goal there. I wanted to mention one other thing. Like you said, Olivia Schmidt, 3 assists in a contest. So, I mean, it's always great to score the goals, but you have to have the team effort in terms of making the goals. And
that's Olivia to a T.
Yeah.
She wants to set her sisters up. She's a basketball player, actually, and so she loves getting that assisted play, that assisted pass that kind of sets up her teammates to be able to be successful.
Well, coming up next for the Wildcats, you have you're at home on Wednesday the 19th against Indiana Tech, but then on the 21st, you have a home match against Cumberland. That'll be a big test for you guys, because they're the number 9 ranked team in the nation, a very solid squad. But you got them at home, so that'll be great for you guys to see where you stand going into conference play.
And we always take it one game at a time. You're spot on in regards to it. Indiana Tech is going to be a tough team that we got to make sure that we're ready and prepared for. But then Cumberland's, they'll probably actually jump up another 2 or 3 spots, because they've gotten some good results. So they're actually going to be close to around that 6th spot when the national polls come out tomorrow. So I really think it'll be a good test for us this week, just to see kind of where we're at before we get into conference play.
When, of course, conference, the Crossroads League in women's soccer is incredibly tough. Defending national champs Spring Arbor heads the list, but Marion University up there, Taylor and IW as well. Should be a great conference season.
It's any team can beat any other team on any given day, and when you have the 2 out of the last 3 years national championship in your league, you know that it's going to be a fun season.
All right, well, Coach, thanks again for stopping by. Congrats on a great start, and look forward to watching the Lady Wildcats the rest of the season.
Really appreciate it. Thanks for this opportunity.
As we said, coming up next for the women's soccer team is a matchup versus Indiana Tech, September 19th, 7 p.m. That's a home game, so come on out and support the Wildcats. When we come back, we'll take a look at Zack Blair's journey to becoming the starting quarterback for the Wildcat football squad. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Wildcat Week. The Indiana Wesleyan University football team has been a long time in the making. One critical piece to that team is starting quarterback Zack Blair. Well, Zack's journey to IW is much different than many of his teammates. So here with that story is Silas Weghorst.
Football is no easy game. IWU starting quarterback Zack Blair discovered that after a life-changing injury a year ago.
I was at Ball State. I'd been there for 2.5 years under Coach New. I ended up becoming the starter week 7, week 8, I'm not sure exactly. And then my first start, 7 plays in, I broke my leg. So that kind of hurted me a little bit from playing there. So as time went on, and I was just praying about it. I really felt God's calling me somewhere else.
He didn't know it at the time, but this injury set him up to lead Wildcat football in its first season.
Got my release on a Thursday, and then the following Tuesday, or that same day, Coach Langs and Coach T had contacted me, just telling me about Indiana Wesleyan football, and honestly, my first reaction was Indiana Wesleyan, like maybe I'll go check it out, but I kind of blew it off, honestly. That's kind of was my feeling.
But Zack couldn't escape the Wildcat roar after his first visit. Indiana Wesleyan went from being his backup plan to the only plan.
As soon as I, entered the football facility, and, I just felt something different about it. And, after meeting with Coach T and Coach Langs, I just knew this was exactly where God wanted me, and so I committed on the spot.
Zack also grew to love the community, first with his team and second with his fans.
It's great having friends that, you can count on, not only, to be there for you, but also spiritually. And just getting pushed spiritually by so many different guys and professors and coaches, and they're like my big brothers, honestly. They're just incredible guys, incredible men of God, and it's just, like I said, it's just been a blessing to be able to be here.
Now the first season is underway, and Zack is where he feels most comfortable, on the field and under the lights.
Dante Henderson in motion. He gets it to Henderson.
Read it quite well.
Devontae Alford comes in at tailback. Here's the pass.
Passing game is going quite well.
Cross. The final score, 43-31. Ron, there was 5 minutes left in this game. The Wildcats were 5 points down.
Coach Langs preached all week about whether if we were going to grow up or we were going to stay the same. And, we chose to grow up, and you saw the performance we put up, 61 points. And there's some things we still could clean up, but, we played pretty good game.
Zack plans on keeping the momentum going with the support of his team.
We just got to keep building. We can't get complacent scoring 61 points against Anderson. We can't get complacent, scoring 31 points against Taylor. But we got to keep getting better and keep climbing. And every single day, we got to constantly live inside our best and then continue to elevate our game.
From Cardinal to Wildcat, Zack has found where he belongs. For Wildcat Countdown, I'm Silas Weghorst.
Well, thanks, Silas. And we've seen how Zack has contributed to the team so far with his experience, and I'm sure we won't be disappointed in his future performances. Looking forward to those. Well, that's all we have for you this week on Wildcat Week. If you'd like to see more of Wildcat Week, you can visit our website, wiwtv.com. Once again, that's wiwtv.com. There you can watch past episodes and connect with us online, wiwtv.com. And you can stay connected with all our local programming by subscribing to our YouTube channel, WIWTV51. Well, we look forward to seeing you next week. So for all of us here, thanks so much for watching Wildcat Week.